And for a Green Lantern series, it doesn't feel like Green Lantern. They also show they don't respect Hal Jordan as a character. They don't know how to write Jon Stewart as a character. Go down the route of trying to bring the whole narrative immigration into it, which I'm getting so fed up of seeing this in movies now when they're trying to make it all like pro, because you know they're going to turn them into the villains. How they're making it come across is making it sound like he's just generally a bad person. And this shows over and over again, people do not know how to write heroes anymore. And it's getting frustrating at this point. We've had so many demonstrations of how a hero should be written, how a hero should be betrayed, especially when it comes to superheroes in comics, in the movies, and TV shows. A lot of people get certain characters wrong, but getting the gist of a character should be easy. Completely destroying characters just because you don't like certain people being heroes, or you don't like the strong look of someone, or people in Hollywood just don't want heroics anymore. And it's getting annoying. And it's getting over the top now. Okay, so we've had the first episode of The Lanterns now. And I want to do a review, and I wanted to do a breakdown. But there's not really that much to actually review or break down. It is nothing really much happens in this. I'm going to talk about some spoilers, so if you haven't watched it, come back later on if you've watched it, after you've watched it. This episode, as a premiere episode, and for a Green Lantern series, it doesn't feel like Green Lantern. They also show they don't respect Hal Jordan as a character. They don't know how to write Jon Stewart as a character. I know we're getting Guy Gardner later on in the series, and you saw that in the trailer. And there's a trailer that they brought out after this episode came out to show you what's happening in the rest of the series. And it looks like it's not as grounded as the first episode. And from what people are saying that have seen more of it, the first half of the series is very grounded in, is it Nebraska they're in? It's one of them little towns in America. I'm pretty sure it's Nebraska. The problem is making Green Lantern grounded, like extremely grounded. They're space cops. My complaint about a lot of movies that came out, they try to be complicated and then they're not grounded, and I'd rather be grounded. Green Lantern's not the ones that you make grounded. And there's different ways to say if something's grounded, not grounded, and things like that. And I mean, like, it needs like making something more, say, self-contained and doesn't need everything from the rest of the universe coming into it. This needs to be more that it needs to have things in the universe coming out of it. Hal Jordan gets basically disrespected by anyone that he talks to, even though from the first moment, like you see young Jon Stewart watching the interview when it's 1996. Hal Jordan's been Green Lantern 10 years. He's recently come out. He's doing an interview with someone. They're calling him a hero. They're bringing up as hero. The suit looks awful that he's wearing. We don't get to see it fully. We don't see the suit at all in the first episode. I want to know if the suit looks that bad when you actually see it later on. That's going to be interesting. But then when we get into this episode, everyone that has interactions with Hal Jordan just basically talks down to him, treats him like crap. And even Jon Stewart, like, he's kind of got that attitude towards him where he respects him because he's Green Lantern, and Hal Jordan's teaching him how to become a lantern, how to use the ring. But you can tell he doesn't really respect him and that he doesn't like him. But at the same time, Hal Jordan does act a little bit like a dick. But Jon Stewart, as a character, very, very, extremely boring. It feels like they just made him the silent, strong type. But he just seems boring. That's the only word around it, just boring. He doesn't come across like a great character. It might change later on when we start getting more things in this. I hate judging a whole thing based on one episode, like especially when it just premieres. But as a premiere episode, that's what's supposed to sell you on something to try and get you to come back. As a premiere episode, as I said, nothing happens here. What we have, if we have like a little introduction to the character, like these two, and where they're going, and they're setting up the environment they're going into. We have 3 timelines basically going on. Well, 2 really that it looks like they're going to be going between. So it looks like the majority of the series is going to be based in 2016. Then we have some things later that something at the end of the episode that happens in 2026. Basically, the setup is, as I said, he's watching an interview when he was a kid, and they introduce Henry Stewart at the beginning of this as well, where he shoots an apple off of John Stewart's head when he's a kid. Ridiculous. He's a military man, and he's shooting an apple off his son's head at his house, where neighbors will be hearing gunshots, and he's military, so he'll be living around people that probably understand what's going on when they hear gunshots. So he would not be getting away with that for starters, but it's trying to introduce John Stewart as fearless. I don't feel like that gives that impression, but okay. But when we get into 2016, it goes into this. It goes to them going to, I'm going to keep on saying Nebraska. I might be wrong about like what town it's in. I'm pretty sure it's Nebraska, but they end up in Nebraska. There's a few things that happen, but it's not important. Basically, there's been a mass shooting at a football game, and Hal Jordan believes that it's aliens. Hal Jordan believes it's aliens. So he wants to get involved. He wants to find out if it was an alien actually involved. The policewoman, like you saw in the trailers, shows no respect to someone who's supposed to be a hero and has been brought up to be like a hero as well, and a protector and all that kind of stuff. They talk down to him the second they start interacting. They don't want any, like either of them, like John or Hal, going on and investigating any of it. They notice a guy in the field, and John messes up basically and points him out, and then he starts legging it. They chase him down, blah blah blah. Hal wants to basically interrogate the guy to find out if it's an alien. The policewoman doesn't want to let him, and is very, very defensive about it all, and just weird about it, to be honest, because they don't want it to be a big, oh, there's aliens here kind of situation. So this goes into then Hal and John. They basically go for a drink, and the whole plan behind this is Hal wants to start a fight so he can get arrested, so then he can talk to the person that's in the jail cell to find out if they're an alien or not. That doesn't work because the police officer, when he does get arrested, he gets thrown into a closet basically until he gets picked up. But while you have the whole at the bar thing, you have John Stewart basically getting his end away with some woman he meets at the bar, which turns out to be a grandma. We'll get to that. If anyone sees John walking down the street, lock up your granny. He might be after her. With all this, it goes into Hal is in front of the judge, and this is the first complete talking down to someone who's supposed to be like the Earth's hero, in a way, where it ends up the judge basically telling him his bail is 100,000 for a bar fight where he didn't actually throw the first punch. So it's a bit oversaturated, but the judge talks down to him like he's a piece of shit. Like, just go watch that scene. You'd just be rolling your eyes during it. It's just like, this is supposed to be a hero, and if there was a fight in the bar, you'd want to know more about it, not just be like, let's talk down to you, you worthless piece of shit. But he talks back and she ups it to like 200 grand for a bar fight for bail. But it turns out that the policewoman's husband's dad bails him out, like, and pays for his lawyer and all that lot. So then we go into that, and they set up this, the route they're going down it, and it was from the leaks as well, where the villain is probably going to end up being like rednecks that don't like immigrants, and it looks like they're going down that route. So it goes into they're all training with their guns, and they all look like redneck cowboys. And when he's talking to him, he talks about like, you're only welcome if you're from this planet, basically. And where they're going down that route. They're trying to put the parallels with real life. And are we not fed up with this now? Why do we have to go down this route all the time? Every time you do this, Hollywood, it fails. No one cares about your messaging. But yeah, so the whole point of that is then it opens up so he can now have the chance to, because it's like the married in family for the policewoman, he can now go talk to the guy in the jail basically to find out if it's an alien. But from there, you find out, because Jon Stewart talks to a kid because he's trying to throw a football through a tire. He helps him, then you get the woman that he just got his end away the night before from the bar. The kid calls her Granny. So yeah, he likes grannies. They're very young for grandparents, especially when you looked at the son as well, because the son seemed like the same age as the dad, right? Like it looked like there was 10 years apart. It looks like the dad had this, like, became a dad when he was 10 years old. Really, I don't know if this is my age showing, because I'm getting up there to be an old fart myself, but it looked wrong. But yeah, so jumping ahead to where Hal Jordan actually gets to interview the guy at the prison. While he's interviewing, because we'll go into this part first, while he's interviewing the person to find out if it's an alien, you have Jon Stewart and the policewoman behind the glass in a different room, and and she's asking him why, like, you follow him, why do you why do you respect him, all this kind of stuff. And the policewoman goes into, she's known men like him before, and he's lonely and all this kind of stuff, talking down to his character. Where when you have heroes and you have people that have to sacrifice stuff, and they're superheroes, they have to go do things in the universe as well. Yes, he probably is lonely, so it probably does change how he is around people and stuff. It's part of, yes, he is only human. How they're making it come across is making it sound like he's just generally a bad person. And this shows over and over again, people do not know how to write heroes anymore. And it's getting frustrating at this point. We've had so many demonstrations of how a hero should be written, how a hero should be betrayed, especially when it comes to superheroes in comics, in the movies, and TV shows. A lot of people get certain characters wrong, but getting the gist of a character should be easy. Completely destroying characters just because you don't like certain people being heroes, or you don't like the strong look of someone, or people in Hollywood just don't want heroics anymore. And it's getting annoying. And it's getting over the top now. It is stupid. Going into the Hal Jordan thing, he just asked him a few questions. He ends up asking about, like, Harry Potter, like what school he goes to, asking him about things that are more like, why did he go to the game, about football, like, and he gets all them right, but when it turns into like Harry Potter, he doesn't have a clue. And turns out that he was an alien and he has a bomb inside him, and ends up going off. Hal Jordan builds a construct around him so the explosion doesn't kill anyone, blah, blah, blah. This is another point. We have a Green Lantern premiere series episode. The constructs in this that you see, he makes money for the jukebox. He makes the construct that I just said, that it was basically a shield around there. And was there any others that you actually see on screen? I think that was it. I think we saw 2 constructs. I think there may have been like one other small thing, but there was the only one that was actually interesting is when he put the construct shield around the guy with the bomb to reduce the explosion. Like the bit with the money, that was just like for a joke. Oh my god, they are so bad at this. They are afraid because the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie, and it got a lot of hate. People didn't like how the CGI was done. People didn't like the constructs. People didn't like the suit. I always found that movie fun. It was good. It was problematic in ways. The CGI was over the top, but I always liked that movie. I never hated that movie. But you can tell they're scared to use it just in case they get accused of using too much CGI, which is stupid for Green Lantern. Like, they don't even want to call this series Green Lanterns because they think the green in front of lanterns sounds bad or cheesy or whatever. It's the name of the character. But okay. So yeah, after this, what ends up how, like, nothing really happens after that. We have another time skip and it goes into 2026, and the police officer is called Jon Stewart, and you see Hal Jordan sat there in the stands in the football stadium. Well, It's like a college football stadium or a high school football stadium, something like that. And he's got a bullet head. He's like frozen and he's got a bullet hole in his head. There could be a couple ways that they go round with that. It could be Hal Jordan. It's not. I guarantee you it is Hal Jordan. A lot of people are predicting that's like a shapeshifter or something. It's an alien. I don't think it is. I think it actually is Hal Jordan because they want to get him out the way because you can tell they don't like his character and they want Jon Stewart to come just take over. And Jon Stewart has been confirmed in Man of Tomorrow, but Hal Jordan hasn't. So that may change when we get the end of this series. But I don't know. We need to see more to see what happens there. Basically, that's the gist of this episode. Nothing really happens. For a premiere Green Lantern series, it should have started off big. And it just didn't. It started off bad. It looks like you're just going down the route of a buddy cop grounded in Nebraska, just American couple. Like, they just look like detectives. They don't even come across as lanterns. Their whole thing is just disrespected. The thing is, as well, I don't really have much to say about it so far, except from right now, it's off to a bad start. It's off to a boring start. It's off to a bad start. It's off to a start where it looks like they don't like the characters who they're writing. It looks like they don't understand the characters, the source material, anything like that. They just want to go down the route of trying to bring the whole narrative behind immigration into it, which I'm getting so fed up of seeing this in movies now when they're trying to make it all like pro, because you know they're going to turn them into the villains. Like, I'm going to carry on watching it because we got the trailer for the rest of it going on. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, you do see where it does look like we go off planet with them. You get to see Guy Gardner, you see Sinestro, and it does look like there's more stuff with the constructs. It looks like the town that they're in, like, it looks like it comes under attack and they have to protect it. It looks like you're going down a route with Jon Stewart where he's kind of getting like maybe mind controlled to try get the ring or something. We'll see where it goes with that. It looks like maybe the second half of the series might be okay. The setup seems like it's going to be very problematic. We'll see. But from the first episode, no. I'll personally give this first episode like a 4 out of 10. No, not even 4. Gets a 3 out of 10. It's not good. It's forgettable. It's bad. Not worth your time. And if it doesn't completely change direction from where it's going here, it's not going to be good going forward. We'll see. So, if you've watched the episode so far, what are your thoughts on it? Did you see anything in the episode that piqued your interest? Are you getting just fed up with these kind of things just being a nothing now? Like, there's just a shell of these characters nowadays that they're doing. What would you rate this episode so far? If you haven't seen it, what's making you not want to watch it? Is it reviews of it? Is it the trailers that you look bad? Because, to be honest, the trailers pretty much nailed it on the head of what it's going to be like. Bad. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments and give us a little cheeky like and follow. You know you want to. And until next time, bye.